My beautiful friends, oh, I just love all you guys and girls. I really do. And I mean that. I'm not just saying it. And just, wow. Let's talk about this day here. Stocks finished in the red today, down about 100 points with regard to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Earlier today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down about 200 points, so we cut our losses in half. And I'm sure that's not surprising for you at all. We already know there is a backstop under this market, and that's just the way it's going to be. It's managed, just like our economy. You know that. But we do need to cover a few more things. And I'm not going to play off the video that I did earlier today, which I may have gone a little off the deep end on. But I still stand by every single thing I said. I didn't stretch the truth. I outlined pretty much how things are. Right now, it's kind of shocking, and that's going to play into this. So let's talk about today. It's kind of interesting. In the video I did this morning, I explained to you that we found out that the manufacturing index fell off of a cliff, lowest point in 3 years, actually in the negative. A big, huge piece of economic news. Very, very negative. And that's what started the slide here in the stock market. Well, it got better than that throughout the day. Leading economic indicators across the board are now in the negative. So that's two big negatives for our very strong economy. And then we got a third hit across the bow. Existing home sales at a 3-year low. And then we got a fourth one. And that was the Atlanta Fed cutting its GDP forecast moving forward. And we only lost 100 points in the Dow. We only lost 100. I mean, seriously, if this were a real market with not one, not two, not three, but 4 rounds of bad economic news, you would imagine 1,000 points would be in order here, but not in the market we have here. Fed is backstopping everything that's going on. Those same 6 banks, it's the same 6 banks that Mnuchin met with. These 6 banks run the Fed. They're buying everything in sight. As a matter of fact, that's precisely what the Fed minutes talked about yesterday. They said in the Fed minutes that they would be willing to buy assets to prop things up. Why can't we have a real market? I'll tell you why. It's pretty simple. We have a managed market. We know that. We have a managed economy. We know that. We have the communist propaganda, which I spoke about earlier today. You know who the communist is. Period. Incidentally, I didn't lose not one subscriber today, and I'm happy about that. But I think people are starting to see the light. Let's put a little more light on this before I go on a little bit further. Let's talk about Senator Elizabeth Warren. Let's talk about this person here real quick. First of all, there's no way she's going to become the President of the United States. Second of all, did you hear what she's proposing? I want to talk about it real quick because it plays into everything that we're seeing. Repatriations for those who were affected by slavery. Let's see. The 13th Amendment was introduced in 1865, 100 years before I was born. And we still have to pay for this? How about something that happened 5,000 years ago? Maybe we should do that too. Now, where is that cash going to come from? Well, she's going to try to suck it out of you, or the Fed's going to have to print it out of thin air. Don't you understand? I told you that things will come about that you cannot believe to keep the Federal Reserve at the top of that pyramid. I don't care how much this woman might speak out against the Federal Reserve or against these kinds of institutions, all the Wall Street banks. They got her in their pocket like you cannot believe. Look, do you think, really, honestly, that your vote matters at all in in any election cycle, not just with regard to the president. These people are being put in there by the puppet masters, and their agenda is all that matters. You and me, we get the crumbs. That's it. People need to wake up to what's going on here, and they need to wake up real fast. So anyway, I just had to bring that up. It's too incredibly asinine to be asinine. It's the truth. So anyway, let's move forward just a little bit here. So this is something else that bothers me, and it should bother you too. Today, and I flip around to all the financial channels, and I read articles all day long. Yeah, I have a great life, but it's the truth. So what we have here, you better sit down for this one if you're not sitting down already. The same, I was going to say something very bad. Very nice people, the same very nice people who are trying to double fist feed you that the U.S. consumer is strong, are now saying, oh, wait a minute, hold on. The middle class is struggling. They're defaulting on loans and they're maxing out their credit cards. People, this is what I've been telling you for the longest time. You can't make it up. You can't, if you tried to make it up, it's impossible. It's freaking impossible to make it. It's laughable. I'm laughing. It's too much. Let me leave you off with this because I threw this out. Look, what I'm about to say is a big hypothetical, and it's kind of half joking. And I don't want you to think that I do not believe that we. All right, let me say this as a statement. We need to secure our borders. We do. If that means we need to put up walls in certain areas, if that means we got to do what we got to do to secure our borders, we need to do it. But here's the hypothetical I want you to think about. Let's say everything that President Trump wants to happen does. We build a beautiful wall wherever he wants to put it, and everything is just great down there. Now, what would happen? Again, very hypothetically, if some kind of catastrophe, a natural disaster or otherwise, were to strike us here in America, and all of a sudden we had to migrate south. It sounds far-fetched, right? But there are a lot of things that are even more far-fetched than that has happened throughout history. Let's just say we had to get out here and everyone had to move south. How would we get out? How would we get out? Look, again, this is a hypothetical. I'm just throwing it out here. And, let's talk about things that are kind of, I know that sounds like it would never happen. It's highly improbable. But how about this? What if I told you that, let's say, an oil-rich nation, let's say Venezuela, which, as we all know, a very oil-rich nation, were to fall into an economic collapse so bad that its citizens had to resort to slaughtering the family pets and eating them, dogs and cats. Well, this actually did happen. It did happen. I know how crazy that sounds, how far-fetched it sounds, but it did happen. And I'm not speculating. This is the truth. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out here as a hypothetical, and I'd love to hear from you on this. What about that wall down there? Let's say we build that wall, and there's some kind of a catastrophic event here in the United States where people got to migrate south. Do you think that Mexico would welcome us all with open arms? Do you think the wall would keep you in, or would you tunnel under it? I mean, like I said, I'm just throwing this out here. Let's recap real quick. But I would love to hear from you on that. Like I said, 4 rounds of bad economic news today. I mean, bad. The lies, the propaganda, the communist comments are just off the Richter scale right now. We are being lied to on a scale that is unimaginable, and you can't make it up. You can't do it. It's impossible. Then we got the repatriations for slavery from The Thing. I like to put names on things. Let's call Elizabeth Warren The Thing, because she kind of reminds me of a thing for some reason. Whenever I see her, I go, oh, it's The Thing. It's the truth. The woman's out of her mind. There's a few people in Congress right now who are literally out of their mind. Now, you did not elect them. You did not elect them. These people were placed in there. You have to understand. Things are not what they seem here in America anymore. I don't recognize this place anymore. I don't recognize it at all. What we need is a revolution. We need a revolution. Why do you think they're trying to disarm you? Why do you think what's the real reason behind it? Because this is where we are being pushed. The puppet masters who are controlling everything and are trying to enslave you. You're already a slave. You're a debt slave if you live here in America. Even if you are not born, if you happen to be residing right now in your mom's beautiful pregnant bellies, I think pregnant bellies are the most cutest things ever. If you happen to be residing in there and you can't hear me just yet, well, as soon as you are popped out, you're a debt slave. And you owe around $70,000 to our corrupt government. How do you feel about that? I know you're not alive yet. And now I'm talking to babies that aren't born. Am I out of my mind? You know I am. But it's the truth. We are now entering a new realm of debt slavery like you can't believe. Things we have to pay for things that happened before any of us were alive. Are you kidding me? This is all the game. It's a terrible game that is being played on every single person on the planet, not just here in the United States. And I can promise you what happened in Venezuela can very well happen here in the United States. If we end up in a full-on economic collapse from the irresponsibility of borrowing into oblivion, the obliteration of the middle class, which is happening right before our eyes. I mean, things that I have been explaining to all of you for years, they're happening. They're happening now. They're happening here, and it's about to accelerate. That does not mean that the stock market is going to be propped up. Look what happened today. In a real market, this would have caused, I don't know, 1,000-point loss in the Dow. Wouldn't have got propped back up, but this is part of the game too. It's that those 6 banks buying everything on no volume. The smash down today on gold and silver, cash coming out of the debt market. Where's it going? Where is it going? You see what I'm talking about? It's unbelievable, but you need to ponder these things, think about these things, and put them into a proper perspective for yourself. It's just out of control. It's out of control. I'll leave you off how I started. This guy here loves every single one of you, and I mean that. We're on the same team. We really are. And every single one of these politicians from the top down that none of us elected, even though you think you might have, they're your enemy. They are public enemies. Every single one of them. All right. See you tomorrow.